Here are some of the most interesting ways people got rich. Number 9. Snuggie. Let's be honest, most of us got sucked into infomercials. Having the late Billy Mays screaming about some product that will change our life will always get us to watch the entire commercial, or at least to the "but wait, there's more" part. However, with the Snuggie, it was different. On paper, the Snuggie should never have been the success that it was. They look like pajamas for members of a secret society. But either because fate sometimes rewards really weird ideas, or because the Snuggie was the work of a secret genius, but it made Scott Boilen, creator of the Snuggie, very rich. The main reason why the Snuggie sold so well was because of the ridiculous commercials. The marketing team knew that the product shouldn't be taken too seriously, so they made the commercials extra cheesy. Celebrities such as Jay Leno, Tosh and Ellen Degeneres all made parodies of the commercial. Millions of Snuggies were bought and given as gag gifts. Do you guys know how many Snuggies were sold in the first year of its existence? The answer will be later in this video. Number 8. Cameron Johnson. Before nerdy teenagers became millionaires by creating apps, they became millionaires by selling Beanie Babies. Well, okay, at least Cameron Johnson did anyway. Johnson must have been born with some entrepreneurial skill. That's because in 1994, at only 9 years old, while his friends were probably playing Super Nintendo, he launched his first business, making and selling greeting cards. After saving up a few $1,000 by age 11, he bought his sister's Beanie Baby collection for $100. He earned 10 times that much selling the dolls on eBay. While his sister learned a brutal yet valuable lesson about how capitalism works, Cameron realized he was onto something. He began contacting Ty directly to buy Beanie Babies at a wholesale price, then flipping them for profit on eBay. In other words, doing what every single retailer who sold those things at a huge markup did, except he had virtually no overhead. That little venture banked him around 50 grand, which is a lot of money for a 12-year-old. Actually, that's a lot of money for many adults. From there, Cameron launched an email forwarding company called MyXMail. After that, he and some other guys launched an online ad company called surfingprizes.com. By the time he graduated high school, he was a millionaire. Number 7. Aaron Krause. The name Scrub Daddy could mean any number of things, and to be honest, it really doesn't sound that flattering. However, Aaron Krause doesn't mind it at all. Krause's story in many ways embodies what it means to be a successful entrepreneur in the 21st century. The roots of Scrub Daddy starts actually with cars. Krause had his own business detailing cars, and he invented his own line of buffing and polishing pads. He later sold his line to 3M, but they didn't buy his sponges because they had their own sponges called Scotch-Brite. This left Krause with a ton of unused sponges. 5 years later, Krause just happened to use one of his leftover sponges to do the dishes, and inspiration struck. After a marketing campaign landed him on Shark Tank, Krause made his pitch with a sponge that looks like a smiley face. He claimed to have invented the greatest kitchen sponge ever. By becoming harder or softer depending on the temperature of the water, the Scrub Daddy was way better than the everyday sponge. And he was right. His live demo got Lori Grainer to offer 200 grand for 20% equity. By 2017, Scrub Daddy had revenues of over $100 million, and it's still the biggest success ever for any Shark Tank product. Number 6. $1 Million Homepage. In 2005, Alex 2 was just a dude from England who needed help paying for college. So he decided to launch a website called the $1 Million Homepage. The website had 1 million pixels for sale, and the goal was to sell each of the pixels for $1. In the end, 2 made over $1 million with his simple idea, $1,037,100 to be exact. 2 was 21 years old and preparing to go to North Nottingham University for business school. However, he was worried about the student debt, so he figured, why not raise $1 million? Of course, it's easier said than done. Each of the pixels on the webpage were sold to a business or individual who could place their own image, slogan, and hyperlink, whichever they wanted. Pixels were sold in 100 by 100 blocks, meaning that each advertiser was paying a minimum of $100. After some of his friends and families bought the first few thousand pixels, things began to pick up. The BBC picked up one of his press releases, and from there, the page went viral. Demand was so high that he had to auction off his last 1,000 pixels on eBay. That's where the extra money came from. All 2 did was sell ad space with a little twist. He didn't exactly need to reinvent the wheel to raise his $1 million. Number 5. MyExcusedAbsence.com. We've all played hooky from work, school, and other obligations. And we all most likely needed an excuse. That's why when MyExcusedAbsence.com came out, it was a genius and funny idea, even if it's helping people make up lies. When the website was up and running, it offered an array of fake documents excusing negligent employees and students from their obligations. Doctor's notes, jury summons, or even a fake note saying you were at a funeral. With regards to the latter, just ask George Constanza how things worked out for him when he tried that one. The fine print at the bottom of the website stated that the notes could be used for entertainment purposes only, which presumably was their attempt at providing legal cover for themselves. Today, the website isn't up and running. Shocker, right? But for a while, the founder of the website launched the scheme for just the price of registering and hosting the website, and was getting roughly 15,000 hits per month. Number 4. Aiken has cheeseburger? One day, Eric Nakagawa and Kari Unabasami decided they'd share a photo of an absurdly chubby cat with the caption Aiken has cheeseburger in a style popularized by posters from the forum 4chan. The photo of the cat, which is actually kinda funny, inspired the 2 accidental entrepreneurs to create the website. Because clearly the public wants to see more photos of random cats with funny captions, right? After posting several more images and getting more responses, that's when Nakagawa decided to convert the website to a monetized blog. And they both became millionaires because IcanHasCheeseburgers.com ended up being a huge success. Fan submissions of cats with funny captions, plus the community aspect, made the site widely popular. With 35 million visits per month and thousands of daily submissions, the site became highly profitable, and Kari and Eric sold the domain for $2 million to entrepreneur Ben Huh. Not too shabby for just making a website with cat pictures, right? Number 3. Stefan Mandel. The odds of winning the lottery are low. Winning multiple times is an even lower number. Enter Stefan Mandel. This Romanian economist won the lottery 14 times. And it wasn't by luck. Born in communist Russia, Mandel decided poverty and oppression wasn't his thing, and he moved to Australia by way of Israel. But first, he won the lottery in Romania twice by creating an algorithm to guess 5 out of 6 winning numbers in the lottery. That gave him enough money to move to Australia, where he won the lottery 12 more times. To make a long story short, he basically set up a lottery business. He had a team of buyers that helped him buy as many lottery tickets as possible, which led to him winning the lottery 12 times. Of course, the winnings would be split among him and his investors. Each time he won, the government enacted new rules or laws that they hoped would put a stop to his very successful lottery operation. After his 12th win, so many laws had been passed that it became hard for him and his team to continue their lottery business without getting in trouble. So he moved to Virginia, where his planning led to his final win in the Virginia State Lottery in 1992. Essentially, the jackpot was $27 million. There were only 7.1 million possible combinations. Mandel and his investors bought roughly 6 million tickets. They won the lottery and split it up for one last final payday. Experts today say his model can't be replicated because there are just too many rules enacted to prevent a group like Mandel's from winning. Number 2. Pet Rock. This list wouldn't be complete without the pet rock. Come on, rocks are everywhere. If you want one, they're all over the place right outside. But Gary Dahl still managed to become a millionaire by selling pet rocks to the public. In 1975, Dahl listened to his friends complain about their pets. he suddenly had an idea. He had the perfect pet for everyone. A rock. He took smooth rocks from the Rosarito beach in Mexico, boxed them up, and sold them for $4. They were marketed as pets, and the rocks came in custom-made boxes that had holes, as if it had a real-life pet in it. An instruction manual also came with the rock, and it was filled with jokes that referred to the rock as an actual pet. In a 6-month span in 1975, more than 1.5 million pet rocks were sold, making Dahl a millionaire. The same people that bought pet rocks probably would have bought a Snuggie as well. And that brings us to the answer to our poll question earlier, which was, what's the number of Snuggies sold in its first year out? 20 million. Number 1. Frank Warren. Are secrets lucrative? Of course. For Frank Warren of PostSecret, it's very lucrative. The whole concept behind PostSecret was basically to let people tell secrets that they desperately wanted to tell someone. People mail in their secrets on postcards, and the postcards are posted anonymously on a blog ran by Frank Warren. Every morning, Warren sifts through postcards revealing people's secrets, and each Sunday, he posts about 20 of them on his site. What started out as an experimental art project and voyeuristic guilty pleasure has turned into a career for Warren, beginning in 2005. To date, he's seen somewhere around 250,000 secret postcards where people share some of the wildest secrets. For example, one of the latest secrets was, quote, "I'm in my 60s, but I love to send my old high school boyfriend photos of what he did not get to see back in 1967. Hey, grandmas have secrets too. Warren refused to make money the traditional route, monetizing the blog with advertising. When you consider that some 200 million people have visited the blog, that's pretty surprising. Instead, he only makes money from book sales and speaking fees. Warren says he uses this approach so he can keep his products staying pure. Here's what's next.